Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Roll. Alright, I'm down in Hollywood visiting Jordan today, and we have actually gone to his old rehearsal studio, and we are going to meet Matthew Roberts. If you remember his vlog a few weeks ago, Jordan's vlog a few weeks ago, he had the guy who apparently is the son of Charles Manson, and he did a tarot card reading for Jordan, and Jordan suggested he ought to do one for me too, maybe get a handle on those weird dreams I've been having, and give me some suggestions on where to go with jobs and stuff like that. And
we've told Matthew nothing. He knows nothing about what he's going to read about Breck.
So yeah, we're going to see what this comes up with. I think this is going to be interesting. Let's go do this. All right, so Matthew's going to read my tarot cards here, so I'm very interested to see what he has to say. So let's do it.
I always like to start off with just letting everybody know that that this is just a tool for you to kind of confirm what you already know. Everybody's intuitive and has kind of innate psychic abilities, I think, and it's a tool to help you discover yours. I don't want you to believe anything I say or not, just to consider it. And if it feels right to you and resonates with you, then good. But I don't channel spirits or spirit guides or anything of the sort. I don't believe in it. So this is numerology or astrology or mostly synchronicity and nothing more. And like I was saying before also, that a lot of times, or a lot of people when they read cards, if the card flips upside down, there's a negative interpretation of that card that they use. I don't do that. Reason I don't is because I don't believe in negativity, actually. I think that if we learn from our mistakes, then it's not negative. And the analogy I always give is, if I get my leg cut off tomorrow, I'm going to go out and get a wooden peg leg and put a patch on my eye and be the coolest pirate you ever saw, and trust that there's something I can learn from a peg leg that I can't learn from a flesh leg.
Perfect.
And if you can kind of apply that, to everything in life, then what's negative about that? The way that I do the spread also is a little different. I just pull 6 cards. I never understood why there would be these big elaborate spreads, and then by the time you got to the 6th question, you had 3 cards left. And it seems to me the order in which you ask the question should not affect the degree to which the answer can pull cards or be accurate. And so I pull 6 cards. I pull them left and right hands, 2, 2, and 2. So you have passive aggressive or yin yang or hot cold. Or we live in a duality based consciousness. And then there's a progression, a linear progression from left to right in terms of past, present, or future, or past, lesser past, present, or present, future, greater future, and so on. And I'm just explaining these things now ahead of time, so it doesn't seem like I'm trying to, justify what happens coming
right.
up. Like I'm trying to make it, explain, make sense or whatever. So these things ahead of time.
Right.
And Matthew, you know nothing about.
Yeah, that was what I was going to say. Is you know nothing about me, so.
Never met you.
And Jordan hasn't said anything about me, so.
Nope. All right. So what I usually do is I start off with what I call a mystery read, where you don't ask any questions. We just let the universe tell you what it wants to tell you. And the other thing is like I was saying, like for yes or no questions, there's a pendulum. You get a yes or no answer. That's it. It goes one way or it goes the other. And then you check the accuracy. If it says yes or no going from right to left, then you turn the card and make it say yes or no going horizontal or vertically, and you'll see. You'll know your hand's moving it or not. So that's a real easy way to check. The cards get a little bit more detail, and that's the point. That's the idea, is going into detail. So, like I had said before, if you want to test them, just ask me a question only But I need to clarify and state that like if you want to know the name of your great grandfather in the 1300s or something.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. I'm not that psychic. You'd have to give me like 5 possibilities, or and then I could probably tell you which one out of the 5.
Okay.
Multiple choice. But as far as a yes or no answer, how you just got to frame the question right. Let's say you fill out an application and want to know if you're going to get the job. So what we would do is we would ask, how are you going to feel about the result of me filling out this application? And if it's all joyous and celebratory, then you got the job. If it's somber or whatever, then you didn't. So that's kind of how we frame the questions to make the cards, answer for us, work for us. So,
All right.
with that said, let me just pull it out here and see what happens. Wow, I was hoping to get a perfect spread this time, but this cable screwed me up. But it's, like I said, it's real important that the cards, all of the cards are out, and so we have a good spread here, so none of them are tucked behind another one or whatever, and that's all I try to do is make sure they're all right. What's your first name?
Breck.
Breck?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question before you start reading that?
Sure.
People had asked me, why do you choose the cards instead of the person that you're reading for?
Well, and that's a good question. I wanted to address that too, because typically it's the other way around. The person pulls the cards, at least the tarot readings I've ever done. And the reason being is twofold. One, it's just the way that I always did it, because I didn't know any better when I first started doing it. A girlfriend of mine had some cards, and I just started messing around with her cards, and kind of started to notice that there was something to it. And that's, when I said I didn't know anything about it, I literally never even thought of tarot cards before then. So that's how I thought you did it. I didn't know any better, and it worked for me, so I just kept doing it that way. But then on the other hand, it seems to me that, okay, if I'm the one who kind of has the little gift or whatever I think it is, then I should pull the cards. It seems, I seem to pull the right one, so it just makes sense. And that's for no other reason than that's just the way I started doing it, and it worked.
Okay.
But it's a good question.
Yeah, very good question.
So, because that would be the only other, like, there's times where I've pulled the same card like 4 times in a row, and it was pretty remarkable. And so, I guess, it begs the question, anyone would go, is he pulling from the bottom of the deck? Because there's people who are very good at that,
We watched you shuffle that for 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's people who could, if they really wanted to, pull a fast one over people with sleight of hand or whatever. I don't have those skills, and you can either believe me or not, but I know that I just don't have that ability to do it. So and that would be why I guess you would want somebody else to pull the cards and not me, so you can rule out that possibility,
Right.
or that that possibility of shade or being shady. But typically, people, even skeptical people, will be pretty convinced pretty quickly, and nobody really wonders at that point. And some people, it doesn't matter what you're going to do, they're not going to.
Right.
So, all right, so here we go. What we start off here is the Moon card and the King of Cups. So what this is suggesting is that this probably is something that just, might have already happened or is happening. And it's some really uncertain times. It's kind of like darkness and uncertainty and even paranoia. And the fact that it's next to this King of Cups, this is somebody who loves and fears at the same time. It's kind of somebody who, wants to rule the waves but afraid to get their feet wet, kind of. And so this is like something happened, or something, there was a period of your life that was really kind of I don't want to say a dark time in like it was a bad time, or it was just a real kind of unnerving or uncertain, or just not something that you were at all real comfortable with.
Would that be something like recent past or distant past?
Well, it could be either, but if the distant past isn't relevant today, then it wouldn't be the distant past. It would be
Okay.
something that's relevant today.
Okay.
And it could be happening right now as well. Like I said, it's this, but this would then be in the future or whatever. But so this is more than likely, it's probably something that happened not too long ago or is happening
Right.
now. And then this the High Priestess and the Lover's card is pretty well what it seems. I mean, it's like a woman and you met maybe and really floats your boat or hit it off really well. It's somebody. It could be. I mean, the fact that you got this Cup card over here, I would say normally the Lover's card could be plutonic, but it's pretty well. There's somebody in your life maybe that's really advanced spiritually, or just somebody that really does it for you, and if it hasn't gone there yet, then it certainly has the potential to do so. However, it looks like this is like a blow to your ideas, like your creative ideas, like something happened to screw that up a bit. And this could also be now, if let's say there's something that's really, really dear to your heart, like if it's not a romantic thing, it could very much represent like your dreams coming true kind of a thing, like something that's really means a lot to you, and then something something on a creative level went wrong, but then in the end, if this hasn't already happened, it's gonna happen. There's such a strong bond there that it's gonna kind of stay strong or stay solid, or you're gonna end up establishing that connection. This read really seems to center on love relationships, or something really dear to your heart, that kind of thing. And it doesn't seem to have a lot of business stuff going on, unless that's what's really dear to your heart. I would say that it's if this stuff hasn't happened, then I would definitely look for some romance in your life, or something on a real spiritual level that's gonna really be something that you're gonna really enjoy or really feel really strong about.
Mm-hmm.
So now this is what we usually do now is, if you have some specific questions about this read, we can ask them, or we can just wipe the slate clean and ask something about something completely different. A lot of times there's
Well, let me ask you something, Matthew. He recently moved and has basically changed his whole life. Do you think that there's anything in that has anything to do with it? Or?
Well, it's if you were in a state of uncertainty, or just kind of moving is one of the most traumatic things anybody could ever go through.
Right.
So certainly that could be this moon card and this card here. But the thing about the all this romance or whatever, I mean, that could be something that's hasn't happened yet, or something that's about to happen. I mean, because this is more or less the present and the future going in this order. But if I mean, that doesn't really represent much as far as movement goes. You would have moving away from strife, or moving to a more meaningful situation, or the three travel cards, like the Page of Wands or the 2 or 3 of Wands would be the travel cards like we got for you.
So this could be something under his nose that he just hasn't realized yet also?
Oh yeah, it's something that's on the horizon, I mean, we could, if you want to specifically ask about your move, or about, any questions you have about that, we can do that. Or if you want to ask specifically, is this represent a person in my life, or somebody I'm going to meet, or whatever, we can ask that.
Is this someone that I've maybe met already, or am going to meet?
Well, the fact that it's right here, it could be somebody that you've already met, or you're going to meet, or you're meeting. It's right dead in the middle right here. So that's usually pretty close to present time. So it can be if you haven't met, you're going to meet them soon, and if you have met, you just met them.
Interesting.
Could you do another spread just on his... He's looking for a job right now, so he's moved and looking for a job. Can you see... Is there any way to
we can
ask questions about what kind of field he should be looking in, or what kind of job possibly...
Well, we can ask how that's going to go, how you're going to feel about your
Or even, was this move the right place for him?
Yeah.
Right.
Or is there, maybe this is a sign of him trying to go somewhere, like, I'm just curious as
Right,
to...
like what I would do in this case,
Because how long have you been there, Breck? 6 months now?
About 6 months.
I would do one reading, like when I'm trying to make a decision like that, I'll do one reading, like what are the results of me moving? What are the results of me not moving? You know? So in this case, you know, if you feel like how's life going to be if you stay here? How's life going to be if you move?
Let's try that.
All right.
Would you be interested in that?
And I mean, in terms of staying here, is that staying here in California,
Well, where
or
you
staying
moved
where
to.
I've moved to, or moving somewhere else?
Staying where you move to.
Okay,
Yeah,
or
like
moving
forward.
somewhere else.
Or moving somewhere else.
Right, okay.
So how's life going to be if you stay where you move to? And then we'll do another reading of how life's going to be if you move somewhere else.
Okay.
Interesting, because we didn't get to go any further when I did mine, so this might be really cool.
So sometimes when the cards flip up like this, I take note, and this is, if you stay here where you move, this would be like struggle and frustration a little bit, not a lot of bloodshed, but brandishing of wands, but no bloodshed. And that's just something we can consider. If the rest of the read, you know, is consistent with that, then you have your answer. But and that's something. See what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
That's the first card I pulled the last read. You
Moon,
know what
yeah.
I mean? So, okay. All right, so this gives us a little better kind of understanding here. What's going to happen, this is a card that represents somebody coming into your life, a friend, an old love relationship, or a mentor of some sort. And it speaks to like relationships that span generations of time, like there's an older person helping a younger person, or a younger person helping an older person. And so now that we got the moon card, which is the same card, the first card I picked, which was the uncertainty or whatever, if this person has not entered your life yet, they will, and be looking for them, and it's going to make everything different. It's going to change the game, and it's going to, I guess, get rid of this uncertainty. Now, this is progress that is slow but steady, but the important thing is that it is still progress. And now this is the Empress, so you know, I don't know whether you, whether you think so or not. For some reason, you know, this is on your mind. This represents a man and a woman coming together and having a child, basically. And it's again a very powerful person, a very smart. Like, okay, we got the High Priestess before in that position. Now we get the Empress in that position. So this isn't, you know, there's something there that you either need to really kind of go into your subconscious and figure out what it is, or just kind of really think about what you want out of life and what you don't want out of life. Maybe it's real important for you, more important for you than you think, that having this significant other is going to be going to represent. And now this is someone who suffers with dignity. So, you know, it's not like okay, you're dealing with it. Whatever it is, you're dealing with it. You don't wear your emotions on your sleeve, and nobody's going to know, be any wiser. But it's something that is, you know, bothering you. And this is something in its early stages, a relationship in its early stages, in its infancy, as they say. You know, now, you could look at this like, you know, I don't know. I mean, if circumstances were in, I mean, this could indicate a birth of a child, even the way this is going, but or that could be something that still isn't. I mean, we're older now, but you know, I don't know. The fact that I got the same card here, and basically the same card here, and we have a very similar theme here. There's something on a relationship level, or a you know, that's really dominating this read. That's, you know, like I don't know if you're in a relationship or not, but if that's the uncertainty and that's what this represents, somebody coming into your life to fulfill that, even if you've already forgotten, given up on that, or just said I don't need it, or don't want it, or don't care, this person is probably going to stimulate those wants and needs and desires again that are latent, that you didn't know you had still, maybe. I don't know.
Can I say why I kind of find this so interesting? Because in the time that I've known Breck, that's probably been the least thing that he ever notices is like any kind of woman's attraction or showing interest, asking questions, has never caught on that's it.
Well,
so it could very well be right under his nose.
Well, you're in California now, remember? Okay, this is one of the few places where the like you go to Chicago and there's like one pretty girl for every 200,000 men, so but LA it's like every 5 pretty girls for every one guy, so you have a lot better shot at things. And this is gender is not even so much like I mean, this is like if you were a female right now, I'd be telling you to make sure you take your birth control pill or whatever,
right.
So so gendered isn't necessarily, like, these can go either way here as far as female and male goes. It's basically the thing that it's really emphasizing is how this particular person is really kind of a unique and special person, and probably it's just something that it's going to blow you away, and you never would have even thought, you wouldn't have considered it. You would have been like, this is something I just didn't even know was out there, kind of a thing. But there's no doubt that this is a person that's going to enter your life, and that you have got some areas of your life that you just don't know about, or you're not even aware of the potential, probably, or the possibility, or you are, and it's but whatever the case, I guess this slow but steady is maybe it's not going to happen tomorrow, but you're probably going to start noticing, and probably, or maybe you should start noticing, and just be more open to the possibility, and you might be surprised that there's more possibility than you ever imagined. You're in good shape, you're thin, you're good looking, you got Jordan behind you here, and there's no reason why you shouldn't expect that.
This is why I'll tell you, I think this is kind of interesting to me. Like I said, I've never known Breck to pick up on women's interest in him.
Yeah, I'm totally oblivious to that.
And so that's kind of why this is interesting, because as you said, you started this is kind of reinforces, or it's a kind of a thing that, everybody's...
highlights your own intuition.
Yeah, and so I think this might be one of those things where he goes, oh, I never do actually pay attention. Maybe I should pay attention more often when I'm out, because women might be,
It's funny because I have what you would say no game as well, and I've been lucky because I'm a singer in a band, and I was a DJ in strip clubs or whatever, so I've always had women, that make, but I have no ability to hit on girls, or to even understand that I have the same thing, but because I'm in LA, it hasn't been an issue. They'll make themselves very, very well understood that they're interested, and
I think if he's more aware of that happening,
what you should do is really, because you'd be surprised. Like, first of all, just because there's so much more women out here than men for whatever reason, like there's women that wouldn't have looked twice at you in other parts of the country are interested here, and like when I moved here, I was 17 or just about to turn 18, and I was in high school with long hair. There were only 2 kids with long hair in high school. I was not popular with the ladies. And when I moved to LA, and I got in a band, I might as well have been in Van Halen. I mean, the Sunset Strip in the 80s, everything, and all of a sudden I was like, I had girls on both, arms or whatever.
So what you're telling Breck is to grow his hair out now.
Yeah. It was shocking to me. It was literally shocking to me. I thought I was unattractive, and just, and so that exact scenario happened to me, and you might find that it happens to you. And a lot of guys think that women are all about money out here, and
Well, he's living in Texas now, so I think he's going to have even more of a shot of not running into that issue.
Well, that's in Texas, another place. One of the other places. I lived in Texas, also in Dallas, or Richardson, actually, right?
Not too far after.
One side of the street on Coit was Richardson, and one was Dallas on the other side of the street. Coit Avenue, I think it was called. And that's another one of those locations where the women are just off the hook beautiful, and there's a lot of them. And you actually look more like you're
It's
from
funny-
Texas and you do California.
Well, it's funny. He lives in a college town now,
Yeah.
and you said that there might be someone younger. So I mean, it might be a younger teacher or
and
someone
gonna be-
there. Who
Well, a
knows?
mentor. I think you might be the mentor to somebody else. Maybe they're the mentor to you, but
I could see that.
it could very well be a younger girl, but this girl's gonna just, knock your socks off, and she's gonna be, and it's gonna be probably, change everything, because why wouldn't it? I mean, who doesn't want to, be loved by a very intelligent and beautiful girl? And what I was saying was that a lot of guys, like one of the reads I did, the guy was talking about he has a small house and a 10-year-old pickup, and I'm like, you know how many women would love to have a house and a pickup, and that they don't. There's a lot of women but women are just genetically programmed to want security. I mean, it goes back to the caveman that protected them from getting eaten by animals. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that, and just because they want security doesn't mean they're a gold digger,
Right.
And security comes in a lot of different forms. It's not always monetary. It can be all kinds of things. Just being intelligent, or just having their back when they walk down the street, or whatever. And there's just I think I personally like being in a relationship, even when they're somewhat dysfunctional. It's just life is better when you're sharing it with somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Well, we got more content out of that than we thought we were going to, so I'm actually going to divide this video into 2 parts. Come back tomorrow and see what Matthew has to say about my dreams. That's really enlightening. So Matthew's going to be starting his own vlog, and he's actually got a YouTube channel already going, and I'll put the link down here. I'm also going to add his email address because he's, I guess, willing to do tarot card readings for people via email. So you can contact him at this address right here, and he'll get back to you. He's even thinking about maybe doing some of his vlogs where he actually does a tarot card reading on the vlog. So, keep an eye on this guy. This might be interesting. So that's all I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.